Hello, and welcome to this session of Quantum Field Journeys. I'm very excited about this session because I think it highlights many things that we see through energy fields that we don't necessarily get to talk about often. This session, I've decided to leave in some of the discussion that occurred before the session, as well as part of the induction, because there's actually a lot of information that comes through the channeling that I think is beneficial. This one in particular for anyone who is on the twin flame journey. So I will not talk about that. I'll let you listen to that portion of it. But in this session, in particular, what is fascinating to me is what comes up through the twin flame journey in regards to the false light and the entrapment through the dark energies. This client in particular has struggled with feeling trapped, and she even said before the session one of her concerns was that she doesn't, through the human, she's unable to accept the light, and she likes to linger in the dark. Of course, these are not judgments. These are things we all struggle with. This is something that I have struggled with immensely on my own journey. I think that there is this misunderstanding that once we start to work in our own light fields, that things will become easier, and that it will just always be this upward progression through our experience. And instead, what really starts to happen is once we experience alignment, once we experience communion with source energy, and we feel that stability of the light, when we have an experience or the energies come in that don't feel good, so we start to get a sense again of darkness creeping in, something in our energy field that needs to be adjusted, or there's just a wave through the fields of nasty energy, we can start to really freak out. And this really, for me, this experience more often than not is what has kind of thrown me off of my path. It's brought a lot of almost what I would call torment to this journey, because there's this underlying fear that we're just totally lost, that we're not going to get back to the path. It's like, if I found the light and I found source, why am I still struggling, and why is this still feeling so badly? And sometimes it even feels worse than when we knew before, right? So it's like there is this idea that ignorance is bliss sometimes, because we never were able to fully experience the light and to fully experience the joy of standing within that. And so when these energies come back in, it can be a bit of a shock to our field. So this is something that I find a lot of people struggle with. And this session is really not an exception. It's something I find very commonly that people experience. So one of the things that you will notice is when she starts to come into this session, she immediately comes into this dark space. And I can feel, so what's interesting, rather than running just through a regular light language session that I used to do, I'm monitoring her field, I'm watching what's going on, but she's also explaining to me how she is experiencing it. So it's almost as if I'm watching through two different television channels, and I'm seeing how she's experiencing it, and I'm seeing what I need to bring into her awareness and into her mind in order to help her understand why and how she is experiencing this energy. Because what is occurring is that she's being pulled out of her field by darkness. And in particular, this energy that she experiences in the beginning is coming through the divine masculine, which is something that she has described quite often, that the divine masculine will trigger her into these places of just utter despair, which again is something I think anyone on this twin flame journey has experienced more than once. So what happens is that we just have to move out of that energy rather than dwelling in it and sitting in it. It's a matter of pivoting and turning and going in a different direction. So you start to see these progressions through her field of where we can make these corrections. And the mind begins to have a deeper understanding of what's really occurring, rather than just saying, oh my God, I'm feeling these energies and I don't like it. She's able to experience the ability of looking around and looking for something different, and of really starting to discern through her own field of what is occurring. So we take her and she comes into her union space. But again, I can immediately start to sense that something is off, even though she's describing angels, she's describing bright light, she's describing a beautiful scene that makes her happy to be in. I can sense that there is something that's off. And so as we start to progress, you can hear even within her voice, there's a bit of like this oh, they're saying everything's going to be fine and I should just turn towards the light and everything's going to be okay. And it starts to sound like this parroting, this kind of, oh, we've heard this so many times before. Everything's going to be okay. Just turn towards the light kind of energy, which is, as I start to look at it through my field, this is the false ascension matrix. This is the false light that is so predominant within the twin flame fields. This story, and especially when she speaks of the red book. Now, the red book is something I have seen before. Throw out the red book. We don't ever want the red book in the fields. So right away, when she starts to describe this, I understand what's happening. This is false stories, false lights. These are things to keep you entrapped in these false angelic, false white light fields that make you believe that everything is going to be okay if you just focus on the light, which we know is not true. We have to look at the darkness. We have to go into the discomfort and release it out. So it's incredibly interesting to have this presented through this session for her to really experience through the body. And that's what's so wonderful about these sessions, is that it is a very visceral experience that, rather than just talking about light and talking about energy fields, the client can really start to feel it and feel it at a very deep level. It comes into this deeper space of knowing through the field that the mind can really start to connect to and understand. And this is really the goal, is to bring this into the physical, this understanding and this empowerment and really this mastery through the field of being able to discern what is true and what is not. Because I've had this experience in the past too, where I go into these false energies and I feel like I'm being pulled along. It feels like it could be true, but it's really not. And these energies that want to trick our fields, these energies that want to keep us entrapped, are so subtle. It's so subtle, the difference. And unless someone is really trained in knowing the difference, I can imagine that if she took herself to another practitioner, that the practitioner would have allowed this to continue, to just follow the storyline through these false energies. And I do believe that's a big part of the problem with other types of hypnosis, is that the practitioners are not properly trained in energy field alignment, that they allow these stories to perpetuate, which are really not true. So I just love this session because I think it's a wonderful example of how the false light works and the ways that we can be so easily tricked. One of the things that I kept checking in with her about was her feet, because I knew in the beginning that there was something off about her platform and her base, about where she was standing. And so, of course, through the session, we see then that she's moving within this false light field. And so that when I check in with her again, after we've released all of this out of her field, that she is now recognizing that her feet are feeling differently. So this was a really good sign, a really good indicator through the session that things had definitely shifted off. So just little interesting points that will come up, and every session is different. It's not to say that we check in with the feet every time, but for each client, they obviously receive what they need through their own field. Like I said, I left in some portions of the conversation. I hope that you find those useful, and thank you again for participating. Much love and many blessings.
The human doesn't want to accept the light. It likes to linger in the dark.
Oh, right. Okay, we were saying you kind of get stuck, down there in the dark. Okay.
The twin triggers me, and he triggered me into a huge purge.
And it's good just to kind of talk a little bit beforehand, because this helps to set up the experience through the field too. Because really what this is about looking at what we're needing assistance with, so that we can go in and set this up in order to give you the best experience that helps you kind of learn how to translate this in a more human sense, right? So you start to experience things through your body as you're moving through these spaces, and as you're kind of interacting through, us talking through this. And it really is these patterns of negativity, right? And kind of this darkness always that, of course, we were born into. So it's hard not to. But it's to begin to recognize that, oh my gosh, the light truly is here. Every time I turn around, there it is, there it is, there it is. And I think it's hard because, society as well, and all of this programming and these systems, it's like, no, I always had this fear, like, if I don't sit here and look at this, like that's being irresponsible, right? Like I'm going to worry about money. I should worry about money because what if I don't
Right.
have all my bills in order? But that's really, it's kind of a, what is it? It's like a misdirection through the field. Like that's not what's actually occurring. They're actually trying to keep you stuck in that, right? So it's not being responsible, which is what we think we're doing. It's kind of twisted and shifted through the field to morph into this really kind of distorted aspect of what is being really responsible, right? So it's like
Mhm.
we think we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, but it's not. We're kind of trapped in these things. So it's really just recognizing, again, facing the shadows, because it's like recognizing, where does this continually occur, and is this actually what I'm experiencing, or has it been somehow manipulated and transferred to look this way, but it's actually something else underneath that, right? So we start to kind of unravel these experiences that you continually have so that you understand better through your mind what's occurring. And then when these patterns start to repeat, you can identify that, right? And kind of snap yourself out of that more quickly. That triggering and the mirroring is all part of it though too, right? Because for sure, you know, to trigger you into saying, what am I going to do? Well, what do you mean? What are you going to do? You're going to be you. You're going to do you, which is what you should be doing anyway. And yeah, the triggering feels horrible, but it sends us back to like, okay, if the twin was not in my life, what would I be fixing right now? What would I be looking at? What do I need? You know, is it that I do need to get a different job? Is it that I do need to figure out something with my kids because it's not really working? And I'm waiting and feeling like when the twin comes in, it'll be okay because we'll split our, the bills, or it'll be okay
Right.
because
That's
I'll have a father
yes.
figure. Like that's right. But that's that reliance. That's where the codependency comes in. So you have to say, no, I am capable of figuring this out on my own. So that's why it hits you so badly, is because these are the areas. So when you are triggered, it's to like literally almost grab the pen and paper, right? And say, what am I freaking out about the most? Is it the finances? Okay, look at your finances. Is it my child? Okay, figure out what it is that they need for support. They are still reordering also. Like, why would you think that he's fully like where he's supposed to be and he knows that this is the way it's going to go? You know, it's like
Hmm.
we're both still reordering through our field. So to say that, oh, he's saying that that's the end game, like that's not true at all. You know, it's to sit back and say, okay, that's where he's at now. And again, this is just so indicative of life itself, right? And what we will
Hmm.
be encountering, which is to say that every time someone says something we don't like, are we going to freak out about it? We can't do that. We go back to the light and we say, okay, let's look at this, right? So
Yeah.
it's a training ground. It's like it's applying that pressure so hard to the field to get this shifted out. So it's like I always say, yes, it feels shitty, but it's like get excited about it because it's clearing stuff out, you know. Well, it's all a part of the process, but it's just learning through our individual selves, what is it exactly that we need to do for ourselves, you know. Instead of taking it as just like, oh, here we go again, it's like, no, look at the specifics. What do you really really need, you know, because the light doesn't, it's not here to make us suffer. We're not here to lead these like half happy lives, you know. It's no, it's everything. We're getting everything, and that's what the light is trying to show us. Love and light model of whoosh, everything's going to be perfect. How in the world can that be when your biology has been so tied to all these things? Like you hold it in the cells, you hold it in all these places, you know. So, and the reality of it is that it's a process and it's not linear. It's up and down and back and forth sometimes. So
Hmm.
but the beauty of it is that as you strengthen the light, it's like you continually turn inward more quickly. You continually adjust, you know, more quickly and more frequently through all of these things. This isn't to say that we're not going to have bad times and experience, you know, traumatic events. Like we very well may, but we're going to be able to move through it with more ease and grace. And I know that's a hard place for you to be, to stop and pause and to allow the breath to come in. But if we even think about the connection between the gut and the mind and how these endorphins are produced and the serotonin levels, that really it starts in these lower areas in the belly. So even if we're resisting it, to just give our body the space and to honor what the body is going through, what the mind is experiencing, instead of trying to bypass and reroute around it to try and find an immediate solution. Sometimes we have to just slow down and stop completely. And this is a space that can be very difficult for the human to sit with. But as we do it more and more, we start to train ourselves. We start to accept this experience as part of this process. But then it doesn't become a chore, it becomes natural, and it becomes almost a desire of ours to, okay, I'm going to start breathing. That's the very first thing that you can do when you start to feel stressed out. Instead of searching frantically through the mind, because the mind doesn't know what is actually real and what is our imagination. So in this way, we can use this mind to our advantage, and we can start to tell it what to do and start to tell it what to experience through our consciousness and through our knowledge and wisdom. And so I'm wondering now if you might be able to feel through the right side of your body any sort of pressure. If you were to look out in front of you, to start to feel, to start to see, how do you experience this when you start through the right side? As we look with curiosity, what is there?
I feel it in my jaw,
Okay.
clenching up into my eye.
Okay, very good. And how does this make you
Red.
feel? Red?
Red.
Okay. And how do you feel as you start to feel these sensations in the body?
Anxious.
Anxious? Very good. Okay. So just for you to understand that as we're picking up on this, we'll just call it a blockage through the field, because we're starting to feel a pain in the right eye. We're starting to feel like we can't see. And it starts to bring in this panic through the field. So just for you to understand that you already were picking up on this energy. And so in you describing how you're feeling and noticing where this is coming in your body, this is how you're tuning in to your energy field. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. So we're going to start. So as we look at this, we want to move deeper into this energy to see and to experience and to call up what is here. And so what are your fears as we begin to turn to look here?
The heart hurts.
Very good. Okay. We're just going to continue to explore deeper. So we just ask for this energy to reveal itself, to reveal it fully and completely as a curiosity, as we just want to take notes to see what this is. We don't have to do anything with this if we don't want to.
I feel like it can't get to the light.
Mm-hmm. And so as we feel into this, that we can't get to the light,
It makes you scared,
mm-hmm.
almost panicky, like
Okay.
scrambling around,
Mm-hmm.
don't know what to do.
As you're describing this, would you say that this is how you've been experiencing this in your life?
Mm-hmm.
When the energies come in and you start to panic? Okay. Very good. What if I were to say that it feels as if we're trapped in a corner because we're looking off to the right? And as I look to the right, there's darkness and there's redness, and I start to feel pain because I feel I have to go here in this direction. That the panic and the anxiety keeps me stuck. But I can see that this room is not just one corner, that there is more to this space than just what is occurring over here in this corner. Do you have the sense that you can turn your head and look in a different direction?
I feel like there's a keyhole that has a really bright light shining through it that I want to go towards.
Okay, so let's see if we can go towards the keyhole. And as we do this, we know that whatever is in that corner will certainly be waiting for us if we choose to return later. But also that we don't have to interact with that corner. That as we move towards this keyhole, we can ask for that corner to be swept clean. Almost as if we call in a broom and a dustpan to start to move that out of the corner, sweeping it out of the space. So we just allow that sweeping to occur, knowing that there are energies here to support through the cleanup as you move towards this light, as you move in the direction that you are to be going. And so let's look now to see if, rather than looking in this other direction for the keyhole, if we can now have the sense that this is directly in front of us, so that we move forward in this direction. So where do you feel the keyhole is now in relation to your body?
I feel like I opened the door and threw the dust into the light.
Very good, very good. Okay. And so let's check in now to see, how are your feet experiencing this?
I don't really feel anything in my feet, but
Okay.
tingling.
Okay, very good.
A lot of tingling. I feel
Very
like
good.
gold,
Gold, a gold tone. Okay,
gold, gold particulates.
good.
It's moving up my legs.
Okay, very good. And so, do you have a sense? You said you are through the door on the other
Mm-hmm.
side. Very good. Okay. And what is on the other side of this door? Is it light?
Angels,
Angels? Okay.
angels.
And if you had to guess, what are these angels doing here?
Almost like protecting.
Okay, very good. Where do you feel this protection coming in
All
relation
around.
to your body, all around you? And
Yeah.
how,
I'm standing there and the angels are all around.
very good. And how do you feel to proceed now with these angels surrounding you?
We're just going to walk forward.
Okay, very good. And as you're walking forward, do you have the sense of walking into the light? Is there anything in
We
particular?
are in the light.
Mm,
We're going to purple,
you're
like
going to.
indigo.
Very good. And how does this space feel now to you? How would you describe?
Peaceful and safe, where you'd want to be all the time.
Do you have the sense that you're walking through a hallway, or is the ceiling higher? Are there walls? Or is it simply?
It's kind of like a hallway, but the ceilings are like gold.
Okay, very good.
It's like a church.
And so, how is this church different now than the hallway?
The high ceilings, the soft cream color with the gold outlining the ceilings. It's decorative gold
Very good.
inside there.
And how is this decoration? Is it on the walls or the ceiling?
And the ceilings, they
Ceiling.
outline the ceilings.
What kind of decoration? What is there a particular shape that this takes? Is it geometric?
No, it's just a line of gold.
A line of gold. Okay, very good. Do you have the sense that you can do something with this gold? As you look at it, does it start to move, or do you feel it starting to maybe descend?
No.
Or is it just staying there? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So let's look ahead forward and see what starts to present for you within this church.
I see green.
Very good.
Green blended with white.
Very good. Let's start to see.
A book, a big book.
Okay. And where is this book?
It's like on an altar, and it's a really big book with lots of pages.
Very good.
And then the angels are standing there, one on each side. And we're looking in the book. I don't know what it is, though.
Mm-hmm. So starting to release out of the mind any expectations as to what this book could hold. I wonder.
It's the book of life. It's burgundy and it's written in gold.
Very good. And how do you feel as you are looking through this book?
I don't know. Just surprised at what it says.
And what is it saying? Are there specific things, or are these emotions, or
Emotions.
okay? What kind of emotions are you experiencing?
Like a peace. Knowing that peace is coming. It's gonna be part of my life. That all the worries are gonna be gone. They're gonna disappear. To not focus on that. To focus on the light and what's coming. And what the angels say. What God says. That they're here all the time to help. That you just call upon them and they'll help.
Very good. And how do you feel now that you're standing here with this book in front of you?
The book has light language. It's not in English. It's of a language that I don't know, but I feel it brings a sense of knowing, a sense of peace, that everything's going to be okay. That there's nothing to worry about.
And how do you experience this through the human? Do you believe that everything is going to be okay?
They say it's going to be okay.
And yet,
It's hard for the mind to understand.
Yes.
To believe in something that you don't know.
Okay, very good. So I will just explain to you what I'm feeling through the field as we look at this red book. It brings up the same fears and the same tones when we first started this progression, as you were feeling scared and anxious when we spoke of that corner and feeling trapped by those energies. And so we asked you to move and look in a different direction, and we came into this keyhole and then into this space. And as we're looking at this red book, that even though this book is appearing as gold, as light language, as being a book of knowledge, that there are similar undertones to what we were seeing in the beginning. So that it is difficult for the human to accept this, because there is a place here where these energies are operating almost as if they're being masked. So coming through and appearing to look the appropriate way and to say the appropriate things, and yet there's a deep distrust through the human, because underlying this there is a sense that something is off. So if we were to say that perhaps this book may not be truth, how do you start to experience this?
I don't know.
So
To
let's
comprehend it in the mind. It's hard to comprehend in the mind.
Okay, so let's release out of the mind to allow that to drop out through the right side of the body. Just going to call in the angels to start to run through the harmonies. What if we were to say that this book, although appears as truth, was perhaps swapped out, that the true book of your truth is not sitting in front of you, and so that your resistance to this red book of life makes sense. It would be an appropriate response, even though it's telling you things that you feel you should believe. Is there a part of you that feels we could close this red book?
Yes, because it would be a relief.
Okay, very good. So let's do that now. And I wonder if the gold in the ceiling, if we might be able to use this now to assist with removing it feels as almost if we could bring a flame in to burn this book.
Yes, I didn't really like the book.
Okay, so to bring this in for the human, can you see now where you originally distrusted this book?
Mm-hmm.
That was your original intuition, your original sense. And yet, because it's presenting on an altar and there are angels present, and it looks like light language, that you were perhaps forcing yourself to accept this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, very good. Okay, let's open through the heart. So let's again bring in this dustpan and this broom. We're going to sweep this scene out of your church. We're just going to
It's
start.
more like started on fire.
Very good. Okay. And are you experiencing this in any particular part of the body?
No, it feels like a relief.
Okay. Very
like
good.
happy. It's happy that it's gone.
We're just going to start to make some adjustments through the heart space, through the right side. to continue to release out from the biology. Anywhere this energy may have been connected in, through the nervous system, through the lymphatic structures into the water. So how are you experiencing through your feet now?
Oh, they feel different. They have, I don't know. They're tingling, but yet they're have excitement in them, kind of.
Very good. So as we drop this energy out, just noticing the difference in the feet, noticing the shift through your base that you are standing on from what you were experiencing before. So as we drop out these red energies, how this shifts through your experience of it. Just clearing through the mind the need to analyze or understand in any other way than what is showing right in this moment. So as this fire burns through, we wait for the fire to die down a bit, allowing the residual energies to move out, allowing the air to clear, allowing the space to quiet. Do you notice a change in the sound within the church?
It seems joyous.
So I'm wondering if you might be able to look off towards the left to see what may be here for you.
A new world.
And do you feel that you can pull this into your church, or do you need to go out to this?
No, it's right there.
It's right here. Very good. And how do you feel that it is coming in?
I just had to turn my head and it was already there.
Very good. As we come in through the top of the head, clearing through the mind, continuing to drop, calling in the angelics to deepen for the allowance. And has it moved beyond your head?
It's in my head. It's going down my throat because I feel like choking.
Okay, very good. Adjusting through the cellular waters. Very good. Releasing out of the right side of the body. This stiffness within the structure of the spine. If we look up to the ceiling now, can you describe
The sun is shining.
So now instead of a ceiling, with a gold line. You're seeing the sun come through.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. And what do you think this might mean now?
Change, happiness, so much happiness.
It's continuing to
Yellow.
very good through central core. And what is this yellow doing?
It's just this, it's a pastel yellow.
Okay.
It's soothing. It's peaceful. It's serene. But it's happy at the same time.
Okay, as we move to clear out of the back of the heart, just releasing out any pain, again, any stabbing or stiffness. Anywhere it feels like this stuck energy through the body, through the biology, through the field. So addressing the many layers. Through the template structure. No koko kotai chahakatoya. Doshakata shiniko. Katoya. So it feels that there's almost a way that all of these planes were connecting in through the back of the heart, that were incredibly painful. And so that now it feels to have been softened and released through the field.
It was like a piece of wood that
Very
was
good.
attached
Good.
in the heart.
Yes.
It was a large pole.
Yes. It was almost like a stake through
Yep.
the back of the heart. Very good. And do you see where it may have been attached through the church? Is there a place through which it was coming?
The basement.
And so as we feel this release out, is there a way perhaps that you can look at where this basement opens into the church?
They wanted to take me to the basement, and I didn't want to go in there because I knew it was a bad place.
Okay, so what do you feel you could do here to this basement access?
Shut the door.
Okay, very good. Is there a certain color or tone that you might want to place over this door to seal this space? Or maybe you want to use your hand to create a movement of a design of sorts, a shape.
I just wanted it to shut the door because the door is really thick and bring down this rod that nobody can go down there.
Okay, so the barrier in front of the door then?
Yes.
Like barricading, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. And this barricade that comes in, is it a vertical bar or a horizontal bar?
It's a bar that was vertical, and then you push down and it makes it horizontal. Okay. And nobody can get in and nobody can get out.
Very good. So looking at this basement door as a representation for where energies were coming in to your space. And now how you have barricaded this door through the horizontal planes, so through the timeline structures to seal.
It's closed. It's closed.
Okay, so now moving this basement door out of this scene and away from where we are standing. Just feel to start to come into the center of this church. We're just going to start to continue to sweep as if we're cleaning up now from the activities of the day. Any messes we have made, any tools we have pulled out, we're going to start to put back. We start to tidy up. We start to close the windows. We start to put the locks on the windows. Closing any doors. Making the space safe. And is there anything in particular that you feel to do here before you prepare to leave?
Just, oh God, thank you.
We just continue to run to release out through the biology. We continue to index here so that this runs the returns of the light. Very good. Clearing through the legs and through the feet. Just noticing before we move off the stained glass window that is above and to the right. That the light starts to shine through on the other side from the outside. So shining the light through the stained glass window to come in, to shine on your body. Do you feel any particular area or space or side of the body that this is coming in on?
It's strong light because the window's broke. So there's lots of light coming in. It's just going on the right side of the body.
Very good. So just receiving. Very good. Okay, clearing through central core. Yes, just so much reverence for the space and the strength of your energy to bring this forward.